Jaya Jaya Sri Chaitanya Jaya Nityananda.
Jaya Nityananda,
Jaya Dvaita Chandra Jaya Gaura Bhakta Vrinda.
Jaya Dvaita Chandra Jaya Gauravasta Vrinda,
Jaya Jaya Sri Chaitanya Jaya Nityananda.
Jaya Sri Chaitanya Jaya Nityananda,
Jaya Dvaita Chandra Jaya Gaura Bhakta Vrinda.
Jaya Dvaita Chandra Jaya Gauravasta Vrinda,
Jaya Jaya Sri Chaitanya Jaya Nityananda.
Jaya Jaya Sri Chaitanya Jaya Nityananda,
Jaya Dvaita Chandra Jaya Gaura Bhakta Vrinda.
Jaya Dvaita Chandra Jaya Gauravasta Vrinda,
श्री चैतन्य चरितामृत की जय।
Jai
श्रील कृष्णदास कविराज गोस्वामी की जय।
Jai
श्रील माधवेंद्रपुरी की जय।
Jai
द डिसअपियरेंस डे ऑफ श्रील माधवेंद्रपुरी की जय।
Jai
सामवेत गौर भक्त वृंद की जय। ओम अज्ञानतिमिरान्धस्य ज्ञानाञ्जनशलाकया चक्षुरुन्मीलितं येन तस्मै श्रीगुरवे नमः। श्रीचैतन्यमनोभीष्टं स्थापितं येन भूतले स्वयं रूपः कदा मह्यं ददाति स्वपदान्तिकम्। वन्देऽहं श्रीगुरो श्रीयुतापदकमलं श्रीगुरून् वैष्णवांश्च श्रीरूपं साग्रजातं सहगण रघुनाथान्वितं तं सजीवं साद्वैतं सावधूतं परिजनसहितं कृष्णचैतन्यदेवं श्रीराधा कृष्णपादान् सहगण ललिता श्रीविशाखान्वितांश्च नमो ॐ विष्णुपादाय कृष्णप्रेष्ठाय भूतले श्रीमते भक्तिवेदांत स्वामिनिति नामिने नमस्ते सारस्वते देवे गौरवाणी प्रचारिणे निर्विशेषा शून्यवादी पाश्चात्य देशतारिणे जय श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधर श्रीवासादि गौर भक्त वृंद हरे कृष्णा 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 हरे 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 राम 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 Hare Krishna, dear devotees. Welcome to today's Sri Chaitanya Charitamrita session. I'm very sorry I'm delayed. I could hear Gaurarti in Philadelphia, ISKCON Philadelphia. So by now, usually I should have ended the class. So, you could have attended Gaurarti, but I'm delayed today. Half an hour, more than half an hour delayed. Okay. So we are reading from Sri Chaitanya Charitamrita, Madhya Leela, chapter 4, the devotional service of Sri Madhavendra Puri. And today, by coincidence or by arrangement, is the disappearance day of Srila Madhavendra Puri. Today is the day which is observed by Sri Advaita Acharya in his home in Shantipur, as a big festival. So Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu had said that anyone who honors prasadam of that feast sponsored by Advaita Acharya, that means on that day, on the disappearance day of Madhavendra Puri, anyone who honors the prasadam which is offered to the Lord in honor of Madhavendra Puri, anyone who offers that prasadam, he will get love of Godhead, he will go back to Godhead. That was the benediction given by Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. So that day is today. All devotees are going to Shantipur today. I was just thinking it was such a blessing for us. We are still reading actually. Just yesterday and day before we read about this pastime. How Sri so the context is Srila Madhavendra Puri got a dream. Gopal Krishna in a dream told Madhavendra Puri to get sandalwood from um, Jagannath Puri. So Madhavendra Puri set out, and on the way he stopped in Sri Advaita Acharya's home at Shantipur. And there Advaita Acharya asked Madhavendra Puri to initiate him, to give him mantra diksha. And after doing that, Madhavendra Puri accepted that. Then he continued on his journey. Now from Shantipur, he is going to go to Jagannath Puri. So close to Jagannath Puri is Remuna. So Srila Madhavendra Puri stopped at Remuna. At Remuna is the deity of Gopinath. And when Madhavendra Puri arrived there, when he saw the form of Gopinath, the beauty, he was completely bewildered by that. And then he performed kirtan and he danced in front of the deity. And then he sat down in that corridor, temple corridor. He just sat down and he was talking with some uh, devotees there, the priests who worship Gopinath. So the deity is looking so enchanting, so lively. So he said, what kind of bhoga do you offer? In other words, he could understand by seeing the deity and by seeing the standards in the temple, he could understand that the deity must be worshipped very um, nicely, and nice offerings, really first class, the best offerings must be offered there to the Lord, or they must. He could conclude that the deity was receiving best bhoga offerings. How could he conclude this? By seeing the deity and by seeing the arrangements there. He could understand that the worship was first class. So he was asking the local priests, the pujaris, what kind of bhogas do you offer to Gopinath? What was his intent? He wanted to find out, and he wanted to prepare same offerings for his Gopal in Braj, in Govardhan. So as he was talking to them, and they started explaining about the various offerings, and the last offering that they make is called Amrita Keli. It's a sweet rice offering, Amrita Keli. But this, why is it called Amrita Keli? Amrita means it is the nectar which is relished by the demigods, the celestials. This sweet rice is so nectarian. uh, it is, when you taste it, it tastes just like, or even better than the nectar that the demigods partake of. So, the demigods don't eat anything which is, they have a certain standard of food that they eat. We see this. We just finished several weeks ago. We finished this episode in Srimad Bhagavatam, where Urvashi makes a condition to Pururava, King Pururava. If you want me to marry you, then she set a few conditions. One of which was she should be given food which is cooked in ghee only, not in anything else, not in any type of oil. She would only eat ghee because that is the standard of the demigods. So you can understand, right? They only eat first class preparations. They don't eat anything which is not first class. So the nectar that they're drinking is also like that. It's first class, not just like some cold drink or anything that we drink in this world. So this Amrita Keli, it's called Amrita Keli. So it is like that. It's very nectarian. Besides that, that particular sweet rice, which is known as Amrita Keli, it is famous all over the world as Gopinather Kheer, the Kheer of Gopinath. It is famous all over the world as the sweet rice of Gopinath. Why? Because sweet rice everyone prepares in Vedic culture, everyone prepares sweet rice. What is so special about the sweet rice of Gopinath? So all of you have, I think, some idea, or at least the South Indians will certainly have this. The preparations that are made to Lord Balaji in Tirupati, they are specific. Even now, even in the West, you have some temples of Balaji, right? In Pittsburgh there's a temple, so some of you may have visited there. So the laddu that they make for Balaji, and the preparations, the sweet rice, they have a particular flavor because they have a particular recipe. When you eat that, you can immediately tell this is Tirupati Prasadam, this is from Balaji, like that. So uh, the sweet rice which is offered to Gopinath in Remuna, that sweet rice is famous as Gopinath's kheer. You cannot find that type of kheer anywhere in the world. So Madhavendra Puri is sitting in the corridor of the temple, speaking to this devotee, uh, hearing about the glories of this particular sweet rice preparation, which is offered to Gopinath every night at Sandhya. It is offered, and also there's a specific way they offer. They offer this Amrita Keli in 12 clay pots, 12 clay pots filled. As Madhavendra Puri was hearing this, it was time for the sweet rice offering. So that Pujari walked on the altar, placed all the clay pots in front of Gopinath, and prepared to make the offering. And right at that time, Srila Madhavendra Puri heard about the sweet rice, and the sweet rice was being offered. It was being offered to the deity. It's still in front of the deity. And as soon as Madhavendra Puri heard that the glories of this sweet rice, how nowhere else in the world you can find, he was thinking, the thought just came to his mind that if only without begging, without asking anyone, because Madhavendra Puri never asked anyone for anything. He would just starve. He could starve for any length of time if food food did not come to him on its own accord. Generally, sadhus go do madhukari to survive, get some roti or something, and they're satisfied with that, whatever they get. But Madhavendra Puri didn't even beg. He wouldn't beg anyone. So he was thinking in his mind, without my begging, if somebody gave me just a little bit, if I could get a little bit of that sweet rice, when I taste it, I will understand what it is, right? And then I will prepare the same type of sweet rice for Gopal in Govardhan. Otherwise, how can you know what that sweet rice is like? How do you know if you're making the same or not? What is the taste like? So let me taste. If I can get, it was just a desire that just came up in his mind as soon as he heard that glorification. So nice, I would like to make this offering for my Gopal also. If I could get a little bit, the thought just came to his mind. And then what happened, we will read today. Ei ichaya lajja paya Vishnu smarana koilo heno kale bhogasari arati bajilo. As soon as Madhavendra Puri got this desire, hmm, as soon as he got this desire in his heart, if I could get a little bit of sweet rice, immediately he realized, what have I done? What have I done? The Lord is still eating that. He's still enjoying that sweet rice. And before the Lord has eaten, I'm thinking, I would like to taste it. Oh my God, this is terrible. How could I think like that? He felt ashamed of himself. Ichaya lajja paya. Lajja. He felt ashamed. I cannot imagine how I thought about it. And when he felt ashamed, what do you do? What do? You feel embarrassed about something. Krishna, Krishna, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna. So, and then he started to remember Lord Vishnu or Krishna. Vishnu Smarana Koilo. Remembrance of the Lord. So, as soon as he realized, what have I done? He started to remember the Lord. Right? Heno kale bhoga sari arati bajilo. But what happens after the offering? By that time, the offering was over. As Madhavendra Puri was uh, feeling ashamed, at that time, the offering was over and arati started. Arati bajilo. So when there is arati, there is kirtan, there's instruments playing and there's singing like that. Ei ichaya lajja paya Vishnu smarana koilo. Heno kale, at that time, bhoga sari. That means the offering was completed. Bhogasari means Bhogasariya. Right. You finish the offering and you move the offering, and then Arati Bajila. Arati Shank was blown and Arati started. Madhavendra Puri became greatly embarrassed when he desired to taste the sweet rice, and he immediately began to think of Lord Vishnu. While he was thus thinking of Lord Vishnu, the offering was completed and the Aarti ceremony began. Aarati dekhiya puri koilo namaskara, bahire aila কারে কিছু না কহিলা আরা আরতি দেখিয়া পুরি কইল namaskar. He offered obeisances. So generally you close the altar, right, when there is offering going on, and then when the offering is over, the shank is blown and the altar is opened. So and then arti started. Arti was being offered to the deity, and as soon as this arti started, Madhavendra Puri offered his obeisances to the deities, but he didn't stay there. He just came outside the temple room. He came outside and he didn't say anything to anyone. He just left without saying anything to anyone. Arati dekhiya puri koilo namaskar, bahire aila kare, kichu na kohilo ar. The deity and then left the temple. He did not say anything more to anyone. Just before that, he was talking to them, asking them about the sweet rice, like that. But when he realized what he thought about tasting a little bit of sweet rice, he felt so ashamed. When the altars opened, he just offered his obeisances and he left the temple without saying anything more to anyone. Ayachita vritti puri virakta udasa, ayachita paile khana nahe upavasa. So this is Srila Madhavendra Puri's practice. Practice, and yeah, ayachita vritti, right? He practiced not begging, so he would never beg anyone for anything. Yachana means to beg. Ayachita vritti means the practice of not begging anyone for anything. Ayachita vritti puri virakta udasa, and he's completely detached, right? And udasa, udasin, right? He's indifferent. Virakta, detached, and udasa, indifferent. Indifferent. Yeah, so there's a slight subtle difference between uh, detachment and indifference, right? Detachment means you have no attachment, right? Detachment means you have no attachment for that. And udasina means indifferent, means it doesn't make any difference to you whether it's there or it is not there, right? Indifferent. It doesn't make any difference whether it is there or it is not there. It doesn't make any difference to you. Virakta means you have no attachment for it. You have no attachment for it. Subtle differences there. So that's Madhavendra Puri. He was detached and he was indifferent. So he wouldn't ask anyone for anything. Ayachita paile kha na nahe upavasa. So he would eat if he got something without begging, and if he didn't get anything, he didn't mind. He would just fast. Madhavendra Puri avoided begging. He was completely unattached and indifferent to material things. If without his begging someone offered him some food, he would eat. Otherwise, he would fast. So we already saw that in when he was in Braj, in on the banks of Govind Kund. That's why Krishna brought him milk, because he wouldn't beg anyone for even milk or anything. Purport: this is the Paramahamsa stage, the highest stage for a sannyasi. A sannyasi can beg from door to door just to collect food. But a Paramahamsa who has taken Ayachita Vritti or Ajagara Vritti, Ajagara means python. A python, generally predators, those like you have lions and tigers, predators, they chase after their prey, they hunt, they kill, and they eat. But this python doesn't chase after its prey, it just stays in one place, right? Coiled around a tree or something, just stays in one place. If something comes close to it, then it will just eat. If nothing comes, it just stays there. So, like Rishabdev Maharaj, he took to this Ajagara Vritti. He wouldn't go after, I mean, not that he wouldn't go, he would just stay. That means you just confine yourself to one place, you don't move around anymore. Sannyasis are generally traveling, right? So you don't go around anymore, and you don't ask also. Here in this context, Ajagara Vritti means you're satisfied with yourself. You don't ask, you don't even ask anyone for anything. If something comes on its own accord, you accept. If nothing comes, you just starve. You remember Bhimsen, when this King Nahusha, he was cursed um, to become a python. So the curse was he would just stay in one place. Then how will he survive? Anything which comes, any animal or any living being, human being, whoever, who comes within so many meters of his distance, that person won't be able to escape. You can eat. That was the benediction. So this is a python. So in the case of sannyasis, the highest is this Ajagara Vritti, where you don't even beg anyone, right? It's also called Paramahamsa stage, where you're not even begging. Otherwise, sannyasis, there are 4 levels, right? Kutichak, Bahudak, Parivrajakacharya, and Paramahamsa. 4 stages of sannyasi. Kutichak means he's still getting his food from his home. He lives outside the village, he builds his own hut, and so this is a new sannyasi. He's trying to be detached, but still he's not practiced in the ways of sannyas life. So up until now, he's been eating food prasadam at home. So now all of a sudden, where will he get food? So until he gets used to and going and begging from door to door, he's not yet prepared, he's not yet practiced in that. So his family will send him food, although he will not live with his family. He will live outside the village, or yeah, outside the village in a small hut. He will sleep there, but his food will be coming from home. This is Kutichak. Bahudak means now he won't even collect food from one place, his house. He will go door to door. From many homes, he will collect little, 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 whatever he needs, little bit, right? Half roti in this home, half roti in that home. So after 3, 4 homes or 4, 5 homes, his, you know, his purpose is fulfilled. Now he doesn't need to beg. This is Bahudak. Then Parivrajacharya, now he is not limited, confined to his village only. He is actually traveling all over the world. So this is an advanced stage. Parivrajacharya means he doesn't know anyone. He goes to new places. And nobody knows him. So he doesn't know where he will stay, what he will eat, but he's completely dependent on the Lord, and he's carrying the message of the Lord. Why is he traveling? That's the other question. He's not traveling to, maintain himself. He's traveling to give the message of the Lord all over the world. Parivrajacharya. And wherever he goes, he knows I'm always with my Lord. So he has no fear. He can be living in the forest with wild animals, no worries. Huh? Prabhupada is like that. But Prabhupada is even above. He is, of course, Parivrajacharya, but even above Paramhamsa. So that is Parivrajacharya, traveling and depending on the Lord completely. And of course, then wherever he preaches, people bring him, they call him home, he will accept, right? But even higher than that is Paramhamsa. Paramhamsa completely, he doesn't even ask anyone for anything. He's Uttamadhikari, right? He's Uttamadhikari. He doesn't discriminate between, those who are devotees, those who are non-devotees. He sees everyone as a devotee of the Lord. Paramahamsa. So this is Madhavendra Puri, Paramahamsa stage. A sannyasi can beg from door to door just to collect food, but a Paramahamsa who has taken Ayachita Vritti or Ajagara Vritti does not ask anyone for food. If someone offers him food voluntarily, he eats. Ayachita Vritti means being accustomed to refrain from begging, and Ajagara Vritti indicates one who is compared to a python, the big snake that makes no effort to acquire food, but rather allows food to come automatically within its mouth. In other words, a Paramhamsa simply engages exclusively in the service of the Lord without caring even for eating or sleeping. It was stated about the 6 Goswamis, Nidra Hara Vihara Kadi Vijitao, right? Nidra and Ahara, sleep and food, and Vihara, recreation, Adi and others, right? Food, sleep, recreation, and others he has conquered, Vijitao. This is this is said about the 6 Goswamis. In the Paramahamsa stage, one conquers the desire for sleep, food, and sense gratification. Any type of recreation, sense gratification. He has conquered the desire for food is for hunger, and then sense gratification would be just the desire to eat so many different types of foods just for the sake of taste. That would become sense gratification. He has conquered the desire for sense gratification, for food, and for sleep. One remains a humble, meek mendicant, engaged in the service of the Lord day and night. Madhavendra Puri had attained this Paramahamsa stage. Okay, so we will stop here and we will continue tomorrow. Thank you so much. Hare Krishna, dear devotees.
Thank you, Mataji.
Hare Krishna.